what has a lot of the stuff in the past been revolving around? Politics. Jim Crow is all about, it's a political law that was passed and making our systems inherently racist. And what have we done in 50 years besides put men and women's bathrooms and allow
Well,
segregation?
I mean, gays can marry. There's been workplace discrimination laws that have been like updating every couple of years now, applying to minority groups, to women, to trans people. Like, America's made a lot of progress in the past.
But
10
what
years.
in our systems? Like, what have we changed as a country?
Are we talking about outcome or the actual rules
Outcome.
here? Well, outcome's a harder thing to measure because at the end of the day, there's disproportionately more poor people than rich people in like any capitalist society, especially one like America.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, since the starting line was farther back for a lot of minorities after coming out of Jim Crow, there's less middle-class African-American families. But they still exist. And, I mean, it seems to be growing at the rate in which, like, I guess, white people got out of poverty. They just started farther back, so there was, like, capitalism was able to be more predatory to them. Because, like, let's be real, capitalism gets you addicted to things. So you keep buying things, and if you have, like, several addictions that aren't in check with buying things, whether it be, like, cigarettes or even,
Is it
like,
harder for a white person to get out of poverty or a black person?
Well, I mean, okay, if I'm a white person getting out of... What's the pretext here? Like, do I have family members that weren't in poverty, or am I, like, trailer trash, like, trailer park boys type shit? Because if so, it's probably equally hard to a degree.
Equally hard, you think so?
I think so, too.
Like, here's the thing, like...
Let's say you have a criminal record.
Okay.
Both of them?
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if they have a criminal record, yeah...
White people are 3 times more likely to get a job with a criminal record than a black person.
Okay, that's fair.
So, a lot of people in poverty...
Look, I agree that the criminal justice system does disproportionately affect African Americans versus white people.
That makes it hard to get out of poverty if you have a record.
I mean, that's... I say this on the show all the time, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but it just goes back to, what are a lot of these crimes that, like, we feel sympathetic for the people who commit them are? They're almost always drug crimes. Mm-hmm. It's almost always, like any other crime, I, like, wouldn't really feel bad for the person. Mm-hmm. The drug crimes, I feel bad for the person. And it just goes back to that rule being dumb. So maybe that is... And that rule oppresses people of all races.
Yep.
So...
Even though white people get significantly less jail time.
And look, I'm not saying we don't deal with the next increment of how to make things more even and more fair afterwards, but I feel like people are skipping a step. Can we really fix the system correctly if we don't start with, like, decriminalizing all drugs? Like, that's, like, the only way to do it. So that's why the main reason I just get a little upset and think that, even though that's a part of the platform for Black Lives Matter, you can tell that's, like, they put that a little bit on their back burner because they care more about the end game with their issues. Because, like Grant says, they do have economic preferences. Yeah. And a lot of the people who are, like, in the movement now, higher up in Black Lives Matter now, have more political power than they've ever had.